Alrighty. Yeah. So I've decided that we can't actually do all of these. I was going to do them all as part of one, but I've decided that we can only do 2 of them. So that probably lost me a whole bunch of reputation, but whatever. The reason we can't do all of them is because my plan was to have this and have a survivor, a rescuer inside here, and control the whole thing with a probe body. However, this probe body is pretty shit. It can't do things like... I'm pretty sure it can't do things like... Go away. Actually, I don't know. Go away. Go away. Yeah, it can't do things like... the whatchamacallits thing, you know, the stability control. I can't do stability control, which means that we would have to manually faff it as we're going into orbit, coming back down from orbit into the planet's atmosphere, trying to faff it with no stability control, with this big old honker thing, which is really, really hard to control even at the best of times because it's all big. So, yeah, that's not going to happen. So we're not going to do that. We are going to have to pilot it with one of our pilots who knows what they're doing. And thus, we are going to get some parachutes up here. Don't actually need the top one, but we'll get it anyway. And yes, that is what we're going to have to do. So, this is not a lot of stuff that we have to actually bring up to the surface, so let's get coupling. So we're not going to make this a very big rocket, I don't feel like. Let's just get... But we are going to have to do some maneuvering upstairs in orbit to figure them out, so hopefully this is enough juice to maneuver around and get some stuff done. It should be enough. That's actually quite a lot. So what we do is then we do this. Yep, and there's a heat shield on there. Excellent. So now, since we are going to orbit, we're going to use a proper setup. We could use this as well. This hooks into this, and then it gives you 3 things, and we could have 3 of these small ones, but I'm just going to use the big one. And this, unfortunately, is where shit starts to get expensive. Not too expensive, but whoa, starts to get a bit expensive. So anyway, we can do this. Unsure how much we actually need. But these cost like $3 grand, so that's not a problem. Now the big engine, that's a poodle. That's our vacuum engine. See, 350 in vacuum, only 90 at sea level. So that's not what we want. We want this guy. This guy is... Well, actually, we want a bigger engine, but this is the best that we're going to get. I think we have to get more science to upgrade the really big engine, the takeoff from ground engine sort of deal. I think it's the mainsail is what that one's called, but we don't have that one, so unfortunate, but there you go. So now, this is 21 grand for this guy. I think we get about 50 grand from rescuing these guys. So we've got to make it cost efficient. So we can start using these tanks here. Come on. You had it. You were doing it. I saw you were doing it. Okay. Angle up like that. Jeez, that was a pain in the ass to get right. Which is the thrust. This is better thrust, and we don't really need the maneuverability. Although the skipper... I'm not sure if the skipper has any swivel. Gimbal is what it's called. Oh, it does. It has 2% gimbal. That should be good enough. Let's structural hook these things up. I love the way they do the structures because as soon as you disconnect them, the structures just automatically chuck away, which is if they were like hanging on, that would be a massive pain in the ass. Okay, try and get that in the center. Not quite center, but good enough. And we're gonna have to start this engine off at the same time that we start these other ones. But that's fine. And we'll get some launch things as well. So I feel like this should be enough to get us into orbit. I don't think we need a middle stage or anything like that. So get this engine down here. Now what I could do if I really wanted to be sneaky was I could put this at like 50% thrust when these guys are going and then tune it up to 100. But we got so much fuel in here. I feel like it's okay for this guy to be running at 100% thrust. Look at that, 7,000 meters per second. That's huge. So these guys produce 2 and this guy, the big guy in the middle, produces 5. So this is going to be what gets us, and this is a little bit thin and wobbly, but it should be fine. This shouldn't wobble off or anything. At 36k, that's definitely a bargain. So I feel like that's definitely cost effective. And we will get some of it back. Okay. So T, Z, full speed. Now let's have a look here. Okay. Hulk there, Scrap there. So they're both on this sort of orbital period that we usually go to. The same orbital inclination, I suppose we could say, as the moon. So if we go up the same way we went up to get to the moon, then we should be fine. What distance are they? 88, 79. Okay, so that should be pretty easy. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, something's wrong here. Something's wrong here. What the bloody hell was that? Huh. Huh. I don't know what that was, but my god, that was hilarious. Okay. All my engines are running. They should all be symmetrical. What the bloody... Okay, I do not know. I do not know, but at least when we shifted off to the left. If we shifted off top-wise, then we would have screwed up our eccentricity. Oh, and I forgot the bloody, I forgot the module, which gives me all the fancy displays. That's alright, we should be able to just faff it. Okay. Okay, let's shut these down a little bit. What you do is you go up to 300 meters per second, and then you close all the engines down a lot until you get up to 10,000. And that's because the engines get better rates, better fuel rates, and better thrust rates when they're above a certain degree of atmosphere. So now we're going to start to lean a little bit. You can see the liquid fuel in the big engine is going down very slowly, even though it's at full speed. I can't tell what my orbital... I really wanted those instruments now, because, yeah, now we're going to have to faff it. 46, 47, 48. We're going to have to do this all manually, no more instruments. So, keep heading off in this direction, and we'll just chuck out 70, okay. Shut that down. Alright, now we have to do some quick maneuver stuff. Hairymuppet 79, 104, good enough. Okay, so we can still use maneuver nodes to get this orbit. It'll still work out fine, just a little bit more of a pain in the ass. Okay, turn, turn, turn. Whoa, we forgot to put batteries on this thing. Okay, that might be a problem. That might be a problem. We got no solar panels, we got no batteries. The engine will boost us up, our power back up. Okay, so 135, so it's about 47, 48. 48 is when we need to hit that thing. Man, Okay, we're into orbit as well. 50, 49, 48. Boom. Keep it on the maneuver node as much as we can. This is flying blind basically, but this is the core game. This is how you're supposed to do it in the core game without mods. That Kerbal Engineer, that is a big ass mod. So yes, this is how I actually played most of the game before I got that mod. And then once I got that mod, it was just like, oh, easy mode, absolutely easy mode. Although I don't think I ever landed on another planet without Kerbal Engineer. So yeah, it was probably just too hard for me to do it. But with the Kerbal Engineer, it is definitely easy. I've landed on Mars. I've landed on some of Jupiter's moons. I've landed on Duna's moon, I guess. I think I tried to get to Elu at one point, but I could not do it. I could not get to Elu. It was just too much of a pain in the ass to get there. Elu is like Pluto's corresponding thing, and it's in an elliptical orbit, and it's really far out, and its angle is really messed up. Oh, it's such a pain in the ass to get to. Okay, that should be good enough. What's so we get rid of the maneuver node. This is a mod. I think it's a mod doing that. 55. Okay, we need to shoot that up. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, that's above 70. Okay, so we're a little bit off. This guy's slowly rotating. This guy's slowly rotating. So we're going to have to do some playing around, but we should have plenty of fuel. Okay, so let's try and match this guy. Huh, that's not good. Those marks are very far apart. Okay, let's try matching this guy. They're still very far apart. Okay. What we're going to have to do is we're going to have to warp to our periapsis, and then we're going to have to shoot out our apoapsis to be a decent amount, like 130, 140, 150, something like that. So then we can do a better job of matching the orbits of these guys. Because, yeah, the problem is we're only like, our apoapsis is only like 106 at the moment. So that means we'll have to spin around 20 times to get to the point where we're actually meeting up with them, which is not what I want to have happen. Okay, prograde, please. Thank you very much. So yeah, if we increase our apoapsis to be like 130, 140, then it'll only take us like 3 or 4 turns to get to the same intersect as these guys. I thought this was going to be a nice quick mission, but this is definitely going to be painful, especially when we're picking up 2 of them. Let's make it 150. Okay. Alright, now it's going to be a bit of a job to see who we get to first. But let's just pick this guy. Let's just pick this guy. And let's just do... we can't walk faster. Okay. So he just got further away. That thing just went up. So this guy, so 853. Let's just zoom around once. This might take a while, actually. 853 actually slows down our warp when we get below a certain 853. So hopefully this should close up. I reckon this should close up because we're going, yeah, 609. So that went down 250. Now, let's go around the bend again. Stop slowing me down when I get below 120,000, you piece of crap. Okay, so this should go down to about 350. Okay, now we have to start working on the intersection, because the next thing will be 100, and then after that it will be 150 the other direction. So the next loop around is when we want that intersection. So let's go ahead and let's set up this maneuver node. So it's 300. We want to make this about 250. Okay, let's do that for now, and then next time around it'll go to 274, and then it'll link down to like. So you right click on this, and unfortunately the mod's broken. We're gonna have to get rid of that mod, which is a pain in the ass. I really wanted to use that mod. Of course, we're locked on prograde, so when I was trying to turn, it was not letting me. Still not letting me. No, it's turning slowly. Problem is, it's such a big-ass rocket, and man, that electric charge is really going down fast. That's right. Once we turn the engine on, it'll all be forgiven. I really want solar panels. Okay, next episode. This one is all going to be about saving these stupid wankers. And stop. I'm stopping as hard as I can. But the problem is this guy only has a very, very small amount of swing. And this is a very, very large rocket. So yeah, it's hard. It's very, very hard to stop it. If we had a reaction wheel, like a big old reaction wheel here, then it would be a lot easier, but it would also take up a lot more electricity, so that's not right. That's not what we want. 17 meters per second, that's a tiny burn. 2, 1. Okay, that's close enough. Just a little bit of burn here. That's the amount of burn we're actually doing is not actually going to. Oh, it's slipping, the maneuver node is slipping, and I've forgotten which way up is down and down is up. That's right, that should be enough. I'm going to turn off SAS for now. We really need to conserve power. Okay, so unset target. Bye-bye maneuver node. Why is this not showing as a target anymore? Unset target. Set as target. Did I do something wrong here? I feel like I did something wrong. Okay. Alright, well, foolproof way of fixing annoying stuff like that when that happens is to go back to the Space Center and then go back out to the rocket. And that'll fix whatever was causing the tracking to stop working. Or maybe it will. Okay, you got that. Now I go to you. Don't tell me I magically got it to the point where I'm going to intersect with it. Because I don't believe that for a second. That's just not right. So we're going to unset. So it's still doing the position at intersect. I do not understand why it's not showing it. It's actually showing its apoapsis as different. So if we add a maneuver, so the problem is, without actually knowing where the intersect for this is, I can't do a maneuver node over here to get close to it. Okay, I might have to do a break here and try and figure this out because this is a problem. This is definitely a problem. It wasn't because SAS was on, was it? No, it wasn't. I do not know. Let's turn SAS off again. Okay, I'll be back in a. Okay, I don't know why it's not working. We're just gonna have to YOLO it, I guess, to try and get close as possible. I think we're on a pretty good course to get like 20 kilometers away from it or something like that. So what we need to do, and this is probably gonna fail, we're just gonna follow it and we're going to see when the distance gets really close. Like I'm talking like 10 kilometers or something like that. Well, was that the minimum? Okay. So what we do now, well, that's the wrong way. Now we just point towards this thing. Now that's 70 kilometers away, so that's a pretty terrible idea. But without my instruments, there's not much. I probably could try and line up its orbit or something like that, but yeah, let's just see how this goes. God, this rocket takes ages to turn. And we're running out of electricity, so can't get that highlighted, so it keeps telling me the distance. Man, I miss bloody KSP. Well, I'm playing KSP. I'm missing my flight engineer. No, that's the wrong way. You gotta press the right button to turn left. It really messes me up here. Starting to get towards it a little bit. This is probably a really bad idea. This would probably end up with us going into the atmosphere or something like that. We're going to hit it and then whoa. Yeah, this is a terrible idea. This is a terrible idea. Okay. We're getting closer to it, but we're also leaving Kerbin's atmosphere entirely. Okay. Screw this. We're not uploading this episode. This episode is just shit. Or are we? I might just leave it at this and just say that we failed a little bit. Because we're not getting that. And okay, it's too late to revert the flight. Shit, what do I do now? What do I do now? Load my save. Quick save 3. Before we did that stupid maneuver, we're gonna load the game. Okay. So let's try and manually faff it, because it's going to be around here somewhere. So let's add a maneuver. So we'll look at it top down. So it was about here somewhere, wasn't it? So oh, now it's actually showing. What the hell? It was in some weird place where it wasn't actually going to show it to us. Okay. That makes me feel a lot better. Now I can start to actually work with it. I hate it when it does that, where it's in some weird place where it just... You do that when you're trying to get onto planets as well. So yeah, that's 15 kilometers there. 9, 8. Whoa. Whoa, how did we get over there with 22? Let's tweak it a bit. Ah, here we go. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Yeah, it really was that purple thing that was missing, wasn't it? Relative speed. 2. Now we've got to be wary because our relative speed is actually quite high. So we're intersecting it, but we're intersecting it at a completely wacky angle. So 240 meters per second is 240 delta V, which hopefully we've got enough to do that. 2.8 kilometers. Let's just go with that, okay? Let's just go with that. Get our energy up. Got to get to the maneuver node in time. And of course there's no burn time because my rocket hasn't been on for like 1,000,000 years, so, and we reloaded it, so you got to actually turn it on a little bit so the game can calculate what's what, and then it can tell you how long the burn node is going to be. So what you can actually, here's a trick you can actually do. So we get the rocket on top of the maneuver node, and then once it's on top of the maneuver node, you push time forward for a second, and then because you push time forward, it resets all the rotation of your craft, and then it locks onto the maneuver node. So we got a 7-second burn, which we'll probably do in slow time. So put time forward. Excellent. Let's just start slow burning that. Burn it a little bit faster, please. A little bit faster. A little bit faster. Okay, slow it down. Slow it down. Maneuver node starting to drift off a bit. Done. That's good enough. Okay, what do we got here? 4.3 kilometers. That's pretty sweet. 245 meters per second. Now, I really want my instruments. I really, really do. Because I need to know my speed relative to the target so I can slow down enough. Okay, let's go ahead and warp to here. So all of these are like the fancy thing, but you right click and it gives you white spaces instead of icons, which is the thing that's really worrying me. Okay. So slow down. If we have a look. Oh god, we're pointed in the wrong direction. We're pointed down, we should be pointed up. It is going to take 1,000,000 years to turn this around. Maybe we should just ditch this big rocket now and just use the little one. Yeah, I think we will. we're doing, we're repairing our orbit a little bit. We should have probably done that further back. Anyway, how's this guy looking? 5.3. Geez, we actually used up a lot of liquid fuel doing that. Maybe we're not going to get both of these guys. Maybe we're only going to get one of them. My instruments. And we need better... I mean, I'll be honest, we need better pilots as well. If I had target lock and all that sort of stuff. This guy's running away from me. Why are you running away from me? This is not how you do a maneuver. This is not how you do things properly, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Whoa, that's getting close. Okay. This has been a total exercise in absolute abject failure. I gotta be honest. God. There's so many things I need to do this properly. I need to be able to point at the target. I need RCS to be able to rotate. It's so hard to do this properly. And look at this guy's flying away now. He's just flying away. Screw this for a joke. This is just not going to happen. We don't have the... I shouldn't have tried to do rendezvous missions without the proper tools. Let's just go home. Point retrograde and just burn, baby, burn. And these guys will just have to be rescued by somebody else. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have been burning at the periapsis. To reduce my periapsis, maybe that was a bad idea. Okay. 60, 50. Come on, Jebediah, just go on home. We are actually going to intersect with this guy. Separation 3.8. What? Let's do something. Are we close enough to switch over to this guy? Space center, tracking station. So where am I? Where's my guy? Okay. Ah, you can switch to it when you're close enough. We didn't get close enough. Okay. Alright. I guess that's what it is then. That's what it is. Okay. Let's just land, and this can be our first absolute failure mission, I guess. So... Absolute failure, I guess. We're not, that's not a retrograde, I'm pretty sure. Oh, swoops. Orbit. We want the orbital retrograde, not the target retrograde. That's better. Hopefully we should be fine. Oh my god. So what do we need to do that properly? RCS would be extremely helpful for doing small turns and for stopping and all of that sort of stuff. Definitely for docking we need RCS. I thought I could do it without RCS because you just have to get close to them, but even getting close to them was still a pain. And the main problem was this thing turns like a bus. It's with this crew hatch and everything else, it just turns like a bus. So, and stopping it is a pain in the ass as well. You really need to be able to turn this guy around on a dime and stop pretty close. And you need better measurements as well. So I need to be able to say how far away is the target at all times. I need to be able to know that. So RCS really would help a lot. And also these nodes to point directly at the target would be extremely helpful. I'm not saying it's impossible with the tools that I've got at the moment, with the amount of things I've got at the moment, because it's definitely possible. I'm just not that good. And with all the frustrations of the target not actually being able to be gotten, like not even seeing the target on there for like 10 minutes on the damn thing, as just like, I just can't be stuffed. I just take the hit on the... Well, I'll leave those missions. I'll leave those missions to go. So let's drop the heat shield. Don't know why it explodes so fast. See, look at this thing is leaning again. What the hell are you leaning for? The bloody rocket leaned when we took off as well. So, okay, let's just go down. Once again, we got too many parachutes, so it takes too long to land, but I feel like we can end the video here. We don't need to see it landing and see the failure. So anyway, catch you guys in the next one. Stay tuned. And we will try and save those guys, but I'll go to the moon first. Minmus first, do a drive-by, get some science, unlock some stuff, and then we can do it. Alright?